Hey everyone, Paul Graff here with Remax Elite Brokers in Snohomish, Washington. This is my video series where I interview referral partners around the country. If you are planning to move this year and need to connect to a great agent, you should be able to find the person you're looking for right here. Today, I want to introduce you to my friend, Luisa Sipple. She is an agent on the East Coast, serving the communities of the DMV area comprised of Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. So Louisa and I originally met at the REMAX R4 conference. Louisa, how long have you been in business?
This July will be 10 years. Hard to
10
believe.
years.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm coming up on 9, so I'm a year behind you.
There you go.
Why don't you give us a brief background of who you are, where did you grow up, what other jobs have you had, your family, etc.
Well, thanks, Paul. I really appreciate it. It was great meeting you, and thanks, hey, for this forum.
Yeah.
I'm a mother of 4 young adults and
Okay.
6 fur babies. The house is a zoo. I was born in El Salvador, but grew up in Texas. I consider myself a Texas at heart.
Okay.
We were part of a military family, so we moved around quite a bit around the United States, and eventually we arrived in Virginia, thinking we'll be here for 18 months, and since 2009 we've been here. So the only duty station that we were assigned when we were told you're going to be there 18 months, and it did not work out.
Wow.
Everyone else had been 4 years, 3 years, and we were gone within a year. So it was the opposite.
Wow. Huh.
So, no, my background.
Yeah.
So prior educator, and I also worked
Okay.
for the Army as a patient administrator for almost three and a
Okay.
half years. While I was an administrator, I decided that I needed a little more balance in my life, and I also needed something that really challenged me.
Uh-huh.
So I went for my real estate license, and I was realtor and a contractor for the government for about 18 months, and then I decided it's time to go full time as a real estate agent. So
Oh, nice.
mm,
I had a similar shift when I got into real estate too. I was doing it part time while I was working at FedEx. So,
yeah,
but
you hit a
and you said
point of
I'm originally from Canada, but I moved to Texas when I was 5.
what
So
part of Texas?
we were up in the Dallas area.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm all over Texas. I grew up
All
in
right.
Houston, went to college in Austin and San Antonio, have family in Dallas, had family
Mhm.
in El Paso. I'm like literally all over Texas.
That's cool. I have 4 kids as well, like you. My kids are 27, 25, 23, and 20 this year. So
Oh, well, I'm on your trail. My baby just turned 21. So
nice. So what got you started in real estate?
so part of it it's like a dual path.
Hmm.
So I grew up in a small business community. My mom was a furniture business owner,
Okay.
and my first stepdad was a contractor. So I was infused with contractor work, staging homes, contractor work, staging home. I
Hmm.
actually remember driving through the neighborhoods and seeing the real estate signs, and I would
Yeah.
see people's name, and I'm like, I want that. One day
Nice.
my name's gonna be on one of those
Nice.
signs. The other part was the experience that I had as a consumer. As
Uh-huh.
we're a military family, we were constantly moving. And for about 20 something years, we bought, we sold, we were landlords, we were tenants. We had the good experience, we had the horrible experience,
Yeah.
we had the unprofessional agents, and there was a great deal of frustration and also
Mm.
just a lot of concern because sometimes your information was not kept private. The agent was not looking out for the interest of the consumer. It's just what's in it for me.
Okay.
And I mean, we ended up with a house that had mold, and we lost half
Wow.
of our household goods. We got sick. Um, just a lot of situations. That one time we ended up with having to do an eviction Christmas
Hmm.
Eve
Oh
because
no.
our manager failed to inspect the house, and literally the whole ceiling, the whole roof collapsed. So we
Wow.
the good, the bad experience. And
Yeah.
I remember growing up, those were not the situations that I experienced. I remember the relationship that my mom had with her clients. And so I wanted to bring that back to the community
Uh-huh.
and that I
Nice.
will be a real estate agent.
Nice. So have you always practiced real estate where you currently are?
Yeah, so
Okay.
in 2014 when I got my license, initially it was just Virginia. I was
Okay.
referring a lot of business to the communities of Maryland, of
Hmm.
DC, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, also in the Carolinas. And when I will follow up with my clients, there was a lot of frustration because either the other party was not picking up or
Okay.
the experience was not what they had had in Virginia. So I literally
Okay.
had a couple of clients who begged me to go get licensed in DC and licensed in Maryland.
Uh-huh.
And one of them asked me for West Virginia. I personally don't know DC. And so I
Uh-huh.
decided I better leave that beast alone. I have a dear friend who handles DC for me. Maryland, I was familiar because with kids, we were in and out of it with all the soccer events, activities. So I feel
Yeah.
more comfortable doing business in Maryland. 2 years after Virginia, I got my license in Maryland, and the rest is history.
Wow. How how different is it getting licensed in different states?
Well, you would really need to stay on top of the law. So
Uh-huh.
in general, you think Virginia and Maryland are next to each other. They should have a lot of commonality, and there
Mhm.
is. But in Maryland, some of the counties have specific regulation that you need to be aware of.
Okay.
One county, if you have a septic tank, you just have to get the septic tank inspected. But in another county, you have to get inspected and they have to give you a report of when the maintenance that they've had on the septic tank. If you have a well in some counties, you just simply require that there's water, doing a simple inspection, there's water in the well. In the next county over, you have to give a yield inspection, you have to do bacteria inspection, and it's not just one bacteria report, it's several bacteria reports. You as the agent need to be aware of those because the consumer is counting on you to take care of that, even if though it's their
Okay.
responsibility.
Okay. Yeah, I've found because I'm trying to get licensed in Texas as well. My
Mhm.
parents still live in the Dallas area, but the Texas real estate is quite a bit different than Washington, and the hours required for licensing in Washington State it's 90, in Texas it's 180. It's
Well, let me,
crazy how different it is just getting licensed in different states for the same work. So,
it is different. I was just a consumer in Texas.
uh,
We had my mother's property was a commercial slash residential property, so it requires someone who knew how to handle that transaction.
mhm,
I kid you not, 8 different realtors. The property was listed 3 separate times with 3 different realtors. Each of them told me something different. The first realtor left a
mhm.
lot of ground for litigation.
Okay.
The last realtor we had, she got us to the finish line,
Okay.
but there were several conversations with my lawyer, and there
Uh-huh.
were several things that I learned, including that as a seller, I really have no rights. I'm at the mercy of this buyer performing their duties at the last minute, and we did have someone quit hours
Huh.
before going to settlement. In
Wow.
Virginia, that would not be allowed.
Huh.
I cannot be a realtor in Texas.
Yeah.
So it was a very
Cool.
painful lesson to learn.
So one of the things with Louisa and me, we both work for Remax, and we both follow Brian Buffini.
Yeah.
So I'd like you to share with the audience today what you like about Remax and what you like about the Brian Buffini program.
So one thing that both of these companies have is the platform of leadership that
Hmm.
they've brought to the industry. I
Okay.
don't know how much you know about the history of Remax or Buffini, but with Remax, when they came into the purview of the rest of the competition, it
Hmm.
really shook the ground because there was so much stale and so much routine. And Remax said, no, we're going to take you, we're going to set up the standard for what the industry is going to do. And Remax
Right.
has led the industry, not just
Nice.
in performance, but in the discipline that they expect from an agent.
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah.
volume that an agent turns around.
Yeah.
We just had 2023 was a very tough year overall for real estate. But if you sit down and you go review the dynamics of the market and you start pulling data for who perform, Remax is leading the way.
Yeah.
In a year where we saw a 20-30% inventory,
Yeah.
lacking in inventory, yet we still were present.
Yeah.
Buffini, I see Buffini as that chisel that's there to whittle and polish an agent. I'm funny enough, I learned about Buffini before I was a realtor. Actually, it was my real estate agent who was always talking about Buffini. And so he actually gave me a little USB drive with 8 of his talks that he had just gone to Mastermind. And I started to listen to Buffini. And the more
Mm-hmm.
I listened to him, the more I had my mom's voice as a business owner. You
Yeah.
take care of your client, you reach out to them, you make that stop, go break breath with them, talk to them, discuss it, argue, get it out, have that go give them options. And
Mm-hmm.
so Buffini and its program really resonated with me. And I like the platform and the leadership they have. I like that they hold you accountable to your goals,
Mm-hmm.
to your resolutions, to, what do you say you're going to do? I'm going to call my client. I'm going to follow up with my client. I'm going to be present. Even when things don't go the perfect way,
Yeah.
you're still being held accountable to that level, to that next
Yeah.
level. So, and frankly, not everybody likes that.
Yeah. Are you part of the coaching program?
Yes, I am. I
Yeah.
just got my new coach. My previous coach actually became a realtor. So I
Okay.
was just assigned my new coach, and we're actually supposed to meet, have our conversation tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to it
Nice.
because I haven't done my homework. I'm gonna
How
be
long,
in
how long have you been in the coaching?
Um, about 18 months. So,
Okay.
like I said, I knew about Buffini before I was a realtor. As soon as I came on board with real estate, I started taking his classes. And I was talking to one of my mentors, and they're like, "You're there. You need,
Mm-hmm.
that push to go to the next level."
Yeah.
So that's when I incorporated coaching.
Nice. That was good. You're bringing up uh, the data for 2023. 2022 is my best year to date, but in 2023, I ended up actually putting more under contract than
Mhm.
even in 2022. But
Yeah.
my work has shifted more onto the commercial side. Those deals don't typically close quickly.
Yeah,
So I've
right
got a
away.
couple of
Yeah.
those closing early this year. But the work the work has been in to build up year over year significantly. So even in a down market, we're performing a lot better than the competition. So for people moving to your state or people trying to decide where to move, what should they know about your area of the country?
Very critical. Call
Hmm.
me. Let's have that conversation.
Okay.
There are two things that get consumers in trouble when they relocate to the area and they haven't
Uh-huh.
had a conversation with a realtor. The cost of living, the cost of living, the cost of living. It's gonna exasperate you. You are going to be in tears. It
Okay.
happens a lot with any not our relatives, our people coming in from the Midwest, from the Southwest, from the Southeast. California and New York, we know they have a high cost of living.
Right.
A lot of people think Virginia, it's the South where cost of living is not that drastic. But you have Northern Virginia and you have Southern Virginia.
Okay.
Northern Virginia is pretty much 45 miles south of Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Cost of living in Northern Virginia is expensive.
Is it? Okay.
I've had families who relocated from Ohio. They came here. I knew exactly where they lived because I used to live just down the street from them.
Uh-huh.
Their penthouse condo, they spend $600 a month. They try to rent here for $600 and I couldn't even find them a bedroom.
Wow.
In the Arlington area, just across the bridge from Washington, D.C., you could
Hmm.
buy $1 million home and it's not going to look like $1 million. It'll be a
Wow.
tiny little house,
Hmm.
more likely not renovated, not
Wow.
a lot of space between you and your neighbor.
Uh-huh.
And somebody's going to buy it and it's not going to last very long. So let's
Wow.
have a conversation. The other thing that gets a lot of consumers in trouble is traffic.
Hmm.
Us who live here know that after 2:30, if you leave DC or Arlington area, the northern part of Virginia, and you have to head south, you need to prepare for a 2 hour, possibly a 3 hour
Wow.
commute. Yes.
Wow.
Sometimes it takes you 30 minutes to go a block, and then it takes you 20 minutes to go 2 miles. Our
Huh.
traffic is extremely congested. We do have metro, but metro
Okay.
only goes to certain areas. They're looking to expand it. We have HOV lanes, and those are congested. Our new HOV lanes are literally just barely reaching the next level of congestion of
Wow.
traffic accommodation. So those two things usually stress people out because they come in and they said, I want to be, you know, 15-minute drive from work. If you work in
Hmm.
DC, that's Arlington. And if your budget is $400,000, you're not going to find a single family. I've had people move from Texas. You know, in Texas, I lived there. I bought a house, a single family house for $200,000, and I had a quarter of an acre, a
Wow.
four-bedroom home.
Yeah.
In Virginia, $250,000 home is going to be Southern Virginia, or maybe a tiny
Okay.
condo. So big
Wow.
drastic
Yeah.
change. Yeah. So.
That seems similar, not exact, but similar to Washington State too. Like at least the Puget Sound region where I live,
Mhm.
so and work. So yeah, interesting. Well, what do you like best about your city?
Oh gosh, there's several historical points that I love, but
Uh-huh.
probably my number one favorite place is the Mount Vernon Trail. As a
Okay.
matter of fact, I
Nice.
start every new year
Uh-huh.
walking part of that trail. Every
Nice.
year. I just love it. You know, the Potomac River hugs from DC all the way down to Southern Virginia and parts of Maryland. This trail is roughly about 10 miles, and you are walking right next to the river.
Wow.
In the summer, families come in and they picnic there, they walk their dogs. You see families in and out all at all times of the year. Now they have
Nice.
regulation in, the park, the marina. There's a couple of marinas there. They do close at dusk or, dawn to dusk. But you
Hmm.
still see people walking, riding their bikes. They love that trail. And like I said, there's a lot of activities. We go there and you can see the fireworks from one of the corners. If you know how you find that special
Yeah.
place. There's activities there. One end connects you to Mount Vernon. That's,
Yeah.
this used to be Mount Vernon land. So one
Wow.
end connects you to Mount Vernon and the other side takes you into just the edge of Washington, DC. So it's a
Nice.
it is
Nice.
absolutely beautiful. If you catch a sunrise there, you're in, and you're gonna be hooked. So,
So what should people do relocating to the area to prepare for a move?
well, number one is have that conversation about cost of living so you're not in
Uh,
shock.
yep.
Number two is because of our crazy transportation, but also our location, we can actually see all 4 seasons in one day, or
Okay.
sometimes we see 2 seasons in a year. So depending on when you're coming in, if you're driving in, pack a little bit of everything. If you're flying in, dress in layers and be ready to dish a few or add a few more.
Okay.
Common sense. So, yeah.
So, as a realtor, what do you do to offer your clients, and what makes you stand out from the competition in your area?
So one of probably the number one thing that I hear when I have conversations with my clients, why did you select me? What made me different?
Uh-huh.
Because I've had the situations where they interview 5, 6 agents before they selected me. And their comment was, you were not afraid to educate me.
Oh,
You were not afraid to not, shun you from information, but I brought it to the surface. You need to be aware of this. This is a regulation that you need to be aware of. And I've actually had clients who, when they purchase their property, didn't have half of the information that I provided for them. Now that they're sellers, they find themselves in a conundrum because we
huh.
have extra, extra work to do. And who wants to do extra work? Who wants to incur extra fees? So the number one thing that I hear from my clients when I ask, what
Nice.
made you different, is you were willing, you wanted me to be an educated consumer. And that's
Nice.
essential for me. You were patient. You explained everything to me a million times, and I do video text. I have the Bonbon accounts. I send them videos all the time. I have recorded videos that explain the different parts of the transaction. And I always tell them, I'm here, reach out, text me, email, send smoke signals. I'll figure out a way to get you there.
Nice.
So, try to
Nice.
be flexible and be friendly, but also give them the concrete information they need since it's a legal contract they're in the middle of. So,
Yeah. That's important stuff, though, to take the time, even in a contract, not rush it, but make
yeah,
sure that everybody knows what's happening, right?
yeah,
Because there's a lot of times I've found where people are trying to hide some information about a property, right? So
yeah.
you want to make sure that your clients are not going to walk into something they're going to regret later. So,
And
yep.
one of the scary things, we
Uh,
love technology. I mean, we love the fact that I can prepare a contract, send it to you via DocuSign, dot loop, whatever venue you want to
yep.
use. And more than once, I've had a client just go click, 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 click. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
They don't even read it. Yeah.
I know, I said, did you read it? He goes, well, you got me. I said, no, 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 no. Legal contract. We're
Yeah.
gonna sit down. We gotta review this.
Yeah.
And they're like, I appreciate you taking the time. And I've had clients who are like, oh, this is so boring. Why? It's your money.
Yeah.
Once
And
you
it's a
can't
lot of
return
it
it. You
too.
can't return it once you're done.
Yeah. Crazy. So what kind of client appreciation events do you put on?
So we do several activities. Probably my favorite is my gratitude pie party. I have been
Okay.
doing
Nice.
that for the last 6, 7 years. Um, I really was at the forefront with getting it done. I told my broker, either I have the broker support, not the broker support, other agents can join in, or I'm gonna do this solo. I will put together a gratitude pie party the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I prepare my entire office and we host dinner for our clients. We have them a little treat, we have a little gift,
Nice.
and then they go home with this huge pie. And they get to choose the type of pie that they want. I have had clients in tears that they could not stop by to pick up their pie because they were heading out of town. I have had clients who will call me up the next day. He goes, I couldn't make it, got stuck at work. Do you have a pie? And I'm like, I'm actually on your way to your house.
Nice.
I love the gratitude pie party. We actually this year we did the gratitude pie party with Santa, and then we did a second event with photos with Santa, and that gave families a second opportunity to take photos for the holidays.
Nice.
And we've been trying so hard to do a Harvest Fest event, and the last 3 years we've had to cancel because of the weather, the hurricane, and the snow. So we're a little bummed about that. And we also did the charity walk, the Alzheimer Longest Day Walk, and that was phenomenal because we didn't have a great deal of time to prepare, but in the few weeks that we did, we raised $600-700 in a matter of days. So it was exciting.
Wow.
And we have families already lining up for the upcoming event this June. So
Nice.
yeah.
That is so cool. So, when not working in real estate, what activities do you like to do?
I like to cause trouble. I like the outdoors. So I like to go hiking, go walking. I used to run, but I had due to a car accident, I can't run as much
Yeah.
as I used to, but I used to run. I have 4 dogs, so they keep me busy with our walks. I also like to quilt and so do different craft activities. I've taught some crafts to children. I used to be Sunday school teacher as well.
Nice.
I do a lot of volunteer work with my church and with the community. We have a couple of homeless shelters and prepare meals on wheels kind of thing. So I do those events and just try to not get in my little cocoon, but get out and go find a need and go fill that need. Like Buffini said, go find a need and do something for
Yep.
your community. So try to be
Nice.
relevant in that aspect.
Nice. Okay. Now we're going to talk about some of your faves for, I don't know, motivation and inspiration. So, what are some of your favorite books?
Well, my number one is the Bible, that
Yeah.
discipline, that personal discipline. Outside the Bible, for whatever reason, since the first time I read this book, I was in ninth grade, The Count of Monte Cristo,
Uh-huh.
and there was this fascination with the character how he developed, how he, he suffered, he had anger, and then he learned that he needed to let go of that anger in order to have
Huh.
peace. So I absolutely love that book. It's one of my favorites.
Uh-huh.
I also like a lot of war books and a lot of war documentaries. So
Uh-huh. Very
you
cool.
will you will find me with some kind of war document in the background when I'm doing work in the office. So
What about movies?
oh, Pride and Prejudice is one of my favorite. Plus the Fiddler on the Roof.
Uh-huh.
Every time I watch that movie, it just brings tears because one is the historical part of all the
Mhm.
suffering that one group of people has had, but
Yeah.
also I love the protection in the traditions that the family is trying to keep against all odds. And
Uh,
unfortunately, life happens, and more than often, one group of people has been persecuted. More than often, one family has been separated. But you keep fighting for those traditions. You keep fighting for the elements, the basics, and you keep, push forward. So
yeah.
those are two of my favorite movies.
Nice. When I was in high school, we put on the Fiddler on the Roof as one of our productions, and I got to play in the orchestra for that. So
Oh, nice.
definitely one of my favorite memories from high school. So, what about some quotes that you've used to inspire you or to motivate you?
When I was a child, my paternal grandma always said this phrase, and at first I didn't get it because I took it literal. I'm not a gold coin for all to love. I have to be myself.
Huh?
And I didn't actually get the second part until later on, but I used to hear her all the time. I'm not a gold coin. I'm not a gold coin for all to love. Well, as I got older, I'm like, why is she saying that? Why? And then at one time, my she passed away when I was a child, but I remember having a
Mm,
conversation with my mom and trying to figure out what is it? What does that mean? And her
mhm.
comment was, a lot of you're gonna meet a lot of people who expect you to be A, B, and C. And if you're not A, B, and C, they don't want you in your world. We should welcome people for who they are.
Okay.
We should never force anyone to be something else. In our interactions, I may pick something up from you, I may pick up from somebody else. I learn something from every transaction, but
Uh,
it should never be forced. We are unique individuals and we should respect that. So
nice. So, in your real estate office, are you a single agent or do you have a team you work with?
single. I
Single
have
agent.
since I started, I was single as a single agent. And the oddest thing was the first real estate conference I went to, the
Mhm.
very first class that I went to. I can't remember the name of the presenter. I know he was a male. And the first thing he said is, if you're considering joining a team, your number one responsibility is to get your divorce papers ready. And I'm
Oh.
looking at him like, what are you talking about? When you join a team, it's a marriage. So
Oh.
before you say your I do, get everything written down. This
Your
is a
prenups.
exactly all the clauses. Get your prenup and understand what rights you have and what rights
Yeah.
you're not going to have. There is no negotiating later on. Put it in paper.
Nice. Nice.
I took it with me. I about 6 months after I started real estate, I had somebody ask me if I would consider joining their team,
Uh,
and I it was never officially done. I started to explore the idea of joining a team. There was a couple of issues with discipline from the other agents that were joining, and I realized this was not working for
mm,
me. I'm the kind of person that I don't need you to poke me and say, hey, get busy. And
yeah.
when I'm busy, when I'm hustling, I don't like the unnecessary interruptions. I don't like the drama. I don't need your meltdown. The real
Yeah.
estate transaction is going to give you enough meltdowns. So, you're not trying to be mean, but
Yeah.
that personal drama doesn't have a space in a
Yeah.
transaction. And I started to pay attention to evaluate how other teams reacted, what people were saying. Again, I'm not the kind of person that needs a hand me down. I hands on. I will go look
Yeah.
for a solution. And so
Nice.
I realized to me being part of a team was going to be more of a hindrance than a benefit. So
Okay, cool. Thank you. So where can people go to find you? I'm going to put all your contact information with this video. So in case people are looking to move into your area, they can reach out to you directly too. But if you can share with us like your website, email, phone, and any kind of publications or any formats where you're at, like social media and stuff too.
I cover all the social medias. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook, Luisa Sipple Real Estate. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, Luisa Sipple, Luisa Home Journey. I have the Remax website, luisasipple.remax.com. But I also took the initiative to create a website that's about real estate, but not real estate. And the
Okay.
whole gist is there is a blog that shares details about real estate. I do post information on some of my listings, but then I also blog about the crazy things of real estate or the beautiful things, the parks that we've explored. My
Nice.
daughter is a photographer, so sometimes I incorporate some of the photography that she's taken, and we have a lot of photos of our pets, events that are going on. So it shows me as a realtor that I am, but it shows you the other side of Luisa. Um,
Excellent.
you Google my name, Luisa Sipple, or you Google Luisa Home Journey, you're gonna find me. And let me tell you how easy it is to find me. Yesterday I was showing a home. It was dark. The parking spaces do have a number. I was given one number, but the where I was supposed to park, somebody had either scraped the number or it had erased. I don't know. The number was not fully there.
Okay.
I thought I was parking in the right place, went in to show the property. About 20 minutes later, I got a call from someone that I didn't recognize. We're used to that, right?
Yeah.
They hung up and then they called again. So as I'm leaving, I returned the call. I said, I'm sorry, I missed the call. And he's like, hey, you park in my spot. And I'm like, how did you get my phone number? Because my truck doesn't have my phone number. It does have Home Journey as my license
Oh.
plate. So he Googled Remax Home Journey and he found Louisa. So that's how easy it is to find me. Just Google
Wow.
Louisa Home Journey and you get me.
Okay, cool. What's your phone number?
703-795-1730.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much, Louisa, for joining me today on this call. I appreciate it immensely. It's been fun
Thank
chatting
you,
with you.
Paul. It was great to
So,
see you.
so everybody, this is Louisa again. If you're moving to the East Coast in the Dallas or Washington, D.C., Maryland, or Virginia area, you need to reach out to Louisa. So,
Yep, call me. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thanks, Paul. It was good to see you.
you're welcome.